Hello, everyone. My name is Dana, and I am a grief coach. I will be coming, looks like weekly. Looks like every week I will be here to provide content on grief and loss, whether it's skills, whether it's knowledge, whether it's education, and there might be some interviews along the way as we go on this journey. So please continue to stick with me throughout this journey. If you feel as though that the content can help other people, please share it. Please pass it along so that other people can receive the healing that we all get and need and deserve. So, uh, where do I begin? Where do I begin? Well, let me begin here. This is not the first time I've did these videos. I've been doing this work close to 4 years, I believe now. I believe it's been close to 4 years. And along the whole 4 year journey, I did lives, I did pre-recordings, different topics about grief and loss. And so just like everyone else, 2020 did not see it coming, did not see how things were going to change the way that they did change. And it's been an interesting journey for someone who does grief work. This has been a very, very unique time. Prior to 2020, it was difficult to engage in conversation about grief of jobs. It was difficult to talk about grief outside of a person because everyone was relating it to, the death of a person. People didn't understand that you can grieve about the loss of money. You can grieve about not having your house. You could grieve about retirement, right? There were all these life experiences that we could not engage in conversations with people because they didn't have a point of reference to have the conversation. And now we can. Now we can be honest and have space to talk about the loss of education, the loss of work, and what the pattern of work looked like. Right? We can talk about the mandate of being told not to come into work, and we can have these conversations that, quite honestly, we could not have in prior times. And so, as always, making sure that there is a platform, that there is a space, that individuals feel comfortable to almost have a mirror reflected back to them, or at least not a mirror, have this sense of like, okay, I'm not alone, right? Because oftentimes the griever feels as though that they're in this isolation, that no one understands them, that no one can relate, like it's just them kind of going through it. And so to break that kind of like the walls down of isolation, and to open it up for other people to see, like, I'm going through it too. So I hope that it is anticipation that this platform and the information and contact that I will be providing, whether it's through interviews, whether it's through, different things that come up along the way, join me on this journey. So tonight, I wanted to talk. Let's talk about my pen, because slightly sad. And so usually around this time, I am at the United Nations in New York, going through a ceremony sponsored by most influential people of African descent. And I've been doing that once again, maybe 3 or 4 years as well, of just being at the UN and being with people from all over the world and recognizing and honoring them. And because of COVID-19, it went virtual and we weren't able to actually be on the UN, but I still wanted to honor the space that has always been present for the last 3 or 4 years with my pad. So shout out to my pad. And that's another thing about grief. The things that we did for years is like they change, right? Things, and how do you deal and how do you cope? And even something as simple as wearing a pin to help me remember the experience is a way to kind of tie in what I've lost and what I'm feeling, and how to kind of bridge that gap, and finding space to process that out. But tonight, I was going to go live, was having some difficulties, decided to just do a recording, and so I want this to be the first recording topic because I think it can springboard into other things. But let me go back. Another reason why I felt so compelled to do the videos and bring this platform back is because sometimes around September to October, till about February, March, there's something in the spiritual calendar that loss becomes magnified. And whether that's, people transitioning, whether it's, all the other types of losses that take place, it's just this window that happens from September, October till about February, March. And knowing that is the season, I could not be who I am and not be able to provide you with the skills and the information that you need. And so that's why this space is being provided. COPE. C.O.P.E. There are different skills, there are different theories, all these different tools that grievers can use to help shift them from grief. But grief is unique. And no matter whether you're grieving the loss of a person, grieving the loss of a situation, who you are is different in each of those situations, right? So for some people who have experienced multiple losses, people have said, like, how I felt when my mother, transitioned, and how my husband transitioned was totally different, right? And it is, because it's different reasons for that, right? Your relationship to the person could also shift your grief. How the person transition can affect your grief. And so there are a lot of different experiences that you can't necessarily pinpoint this one size fits all. Like, if you do this, then this will help you in your grief. Like that hasn't been developed. I wouldn't even recommend that if that had ever come out as a tool, because it's too unique, it's too different. And so it becomes this try it on kind of a thing. Like, try it on and see if this works for you. And if that doesn't work, then try this on and see if it works for you. And I tell people all the time, talk therapy is not for everyone, right? That ability to talk things out and to process it and hear different viewpoints, and it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But find what works for you to process it through your journey. And so COPE, C-O-P-E. We hear it and not necessarily know. So I just wanted to break down the letters of what was given to me so that I can give it to you. So the C is all about continuing on with your journey, because literally one of the myths is time does not heal all wounds. So is it a continuous journey, right? Like, how you feel now, who knows how you're going to feel a year from now, was how you felt a year ago. And so it is a continuous journey. There are times that people who have experienced a loss 10 years ago can still weep and cry as if the event happened, yesterday. And so it is a continuous process that we find ourselves on. The O is for operate. And grief is one of those things that you have to do the self surgery on. You have to be willing. You ever like get a splinter and you can't get it? You're like, no, I need someone to come and get it out for me, right? Like, that's not how grief works. Grief is not something that, even as a coach, as a therapist, as a counselor, working with individuals, I can't do it for you, right? I can't. I can tell you different experiences, I can tell you different theories, I can tell you all of that, but you have to apply it within your life. You have to do the soul searching, the spirit work, the thought process. It is a lot of self surgery that you have to go through. You have to operate in it. You have to do it yourself. The P is for personal. It is individuals. It is your personal experience. It goes to the E, which is experiences, as that when you continue to operate personal experiences, and that experiences is definitely with an S, because we go through different type of experiences, between the loss of a pet to the loss of employment to the loss of income. Like, there's different things, and people want to say that it's compound grief. Okay, you can label it as compound grief. That's fine too. But it's different experiences that we go through that I might not react. I may react differently from the loss of a pet than the loss of a sibling. But it can be the same feelings that are present. So don't be afraid to go on this journey, because the only way that you can see the other side and be on the other side is if you continually operate within your personal experiences to explore. Sometimes things might be harder than others. There could be holidays that might be difficult than others. And we'll talk about those different holidays as they come up, and some things that you can do to honor, recognize it. Because one of the things that comes to mind right now is we're about to go into Thanksgiving. And a lot of families are trying to figure out what the holidays are going to look like with quarantining, with COVID. By that time, elections would have happened. That's a whole nother topic about politics and grief. Gotta take a breath on that one. And there's different things you can do, right, to honor. A lot of people will be experiencing holidays for the first time without their loved ones. And so instead of just brushing it off or not acknowledging it, we could talk about that, right? Whether it's putting a place setting for that individual in their seat, right? If they always had a seat that they sat at, still honoring them and having, a place setting for them is another thing that we can talk about, and I can give you some things to do. So I didn't want to be on here long for the first one, but I just wanted to provide this content in this platform and to know what's coming. So please feel free to write me any topics or any ideas that you would like to go forth within this. This is our journey. This is not just something that I want to come here and be so tunnel vision on where this goes, but I really want this to be a space that is helpful for as many people as possible. And so if you want to go on this journey with me, please stay tuned each and every Wednesday. Please share this. Please like it. Please write your comments so that I know what works and what doesn't work as we continue on. Because it is one of my purposes is to be a bridge for the lost and the living, and to be that bridge so individuals can cross over into their healing, their wholeness, their place of functioning that works best for them. So thank you for spending this time with me. And I look forward to speaking and seeing everyone next week. Be safe, take care, and until we meet again. Bye.